You know what? I think where we want to go first. Let's continue to address the Eminem thing, and exactly why Eminem isn't in the top 25. I think another one for me, as far as Eminem, and when we're talking about living MCs, like I said before we got online, when you put that term "living" in there, then it's about activity, and you factor in how active a person is. You can't really lean on the individuals who are no longer here and say, okay, well, that material is dormanted, that's cemented in hip hop history. I think that the last time the Eminem moved the needle was in 2002, and he's been extremely active since then. So, with a list like this, people's stock rises and falls, right? And
Right.
and Eminem hasn't done anything since 2002 to rise his stock. And even in 2002, I don't know if he was even a top 20 all time.
No, I would think you would have to say that in 2002,
Okay.
2003, Mike.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Time is kinder to people than others. I mean, his skills haven't, like I said, Mike. This thing, even on this last album, Mike. I mean, he can do things on the mic, like you like to say, technically sound rapping wise.
Right.
That I mean, the only person on this list that I know that can do it offhand the way he does it is Black Thought, or probably Method Man. Just multiple ability wise. So he's special in that regard. I mean, Mike, this is a list littered with special people.
Yeah. I just think that his body of work and his catalog really, for me, that's why I left him off. I had him at the tail end. I don't think that Eminem has records that are super important to hip hop in general. I mean, Snoop Dogg said himself, which started the whole.
Wouldn't Lose Yourself be the most important song? Not even the best, but wouldn't that be the song that most embodies hip hop culture that he made?
I think Lose Yourself is his
Rabbit
best
Run,
song.
Or Rabbit Run. Like Rabbit Run's on some rap shit.
I mean, listen, it's on some rap shit, and I ain't saying it ain't hip hop or whatever. I'm just saying, like,
no, that's some rap shit. That's definitely, like, Rabbit Run is some hip hop. Like, yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, when the DJ's spinning or whatever, they gonna throw on any of these records, like, like a DJ would throw on Mind Playing Tricks on Me or something. You know what I'm saying?
Like, part of the reason why I was saying that, Mike, is that's the only time, and I mean, I was clubbing around that time. That was the only time I really heard him get some run in the Black Club, was those two records.
Oh,
it didn't get a lot of burn, but it got burned.
Let's get to the people. Jay says no G-Rap or Lupe. And for the people that saying Tupac and Big, this is a living list. They're no longer here. So we just included all the people who are, who are living. But yeah, what do you say to the whole no G-Rap and no Lupe fiasco on this list?
It's an objective list. I love Kool G-Rap. I looked at the criteria, and so body of work and impact has hurt G-Rap a little bit because his impact. How about this? It's kind of funny, Mike. In the mid 90s to early 2000s, I felt like maybe some of Slick Rick and KRS's impact had started to fade. And I felt like Kane and Kool G Raps had kind of like stepped up. But I also actually feel like over a course of time, the inverse has happened again, where Kane and Kool G Raps' impact has kind of descended a little bit. And also, too, Slick Rick's and KRS's over time has kind of picked back up, especially with Slick Rick. I mean, and so that was my thesis on it. I'm going to say the same thing. And I feel more this way about Kool G Rap than I do about Eminem. Oh, if we just talking skills, Mike, if we talking skills, he's in the top 5 to 7. If we just talking skills.
Yeah.
But the criteria isn't just skills. And also, too, there's something to be said for Kane and Kool G Rap. And here's what I mean where the impact is changing. Right. They both got surpassed by their predecessors. And Nas, and then Jay, and then Big. And so their predecessors literally becoming the MCs that they became kind of has hurt them, too. And people need to understand that. Because what has kind of hurt Kool G Rap, Kane, is that I got Nas, I got Shaggy. I don't need to listen to.
Yeah, they came in almost with like new and improved versions, and that's no disrespect. And I think that a lot of that is just the industry and how things just open up. Because a lot of the times when people break down barriers and set the foundation, they don't really get to reap all the benefits of that foundation that they set. I mean, even if we're talking about somebody like a Melly Mel or Grandmaster Caz, like the foundation that they set for Rakim and KRS, they didn't even get the benefit from that either.
Okay, Mike, specifically, I actually had G Rap 26 on my list. It goes G Rap, Mos Def, J Cole, Royce the 5'9", the Jizza, Q-Tip. That's like right outside my top 25. So I got Kane and G Rap right there. I got Kane's impact being higher because of the live show and the fact that Kane is still out there doing live shows that are amazing. There's something impactful about that.
Yeah, Kane is performing on a high level.
Can I give Kane a little bit of flowers? Because here is what I think about Kane. I actually feel like Kane came out too soon. I feel like if Kane comes out in the early to mid 90s, he's actually bigger and more of a sex symbol.
I think that, and we talked about this offline. I think that Kane, Cube to a certain degree, I think that their stock kind of dropped just based on some of that material that they do have that's in their catalog, in their discography rather, that kind of just isn't up to snuff. You know what I mean? And
Kane's problem is the number of output. I think he probably has the least amount of output of everybody on this list, Mike. That's part of the reason why he's at the back end of it too. Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of impact, and I think the biggest person as far as impact goes, one of the most impactful people.
Impact that much too, Mike. Too. This is why I don't like Impact that much, because somebody like Kane, that when I was in high school was like easily top 5, is now like somewhere between 25 because of how the criteria is weighing it. That's why I kind of try to keep my list as skill based as possible, which is why Nas usually comes out like at the top of the list. I usually just try to keep it to like the criteria of what MCing is and what the body of work looks like. I try not to do that impact stuff.
Rob says that KRS is his number one, and at some point KRS was everybody's number one. When exactly did that change, Kool? Because I know we were talking about that offline. We ended up having KRS at 10 because, his Boogie Down production, catalog's incredible. And he was one of the people from the 80s that was able to keep it going. But, the impact was kind of dwindling in that sense. I think people just passed KRS, honestly. I mean, it's just my opinion.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, what happened specifically? I mean, and Rakim has kind of been the one that has stood the testament of it, but specifically what happens, guys like Kool G Rap, Kane, and Slick Rick, and those guys, like Mike, Tupac, Big, Nas, and Jay happened. That's what happened.
And these guys, and people have to look.
That's how it happened.
Yeah, and people have to look at this objectively. Like, these guys weren't old, not to interrupt you. These guys were in their late 20s and early 30s. And the young guys came and superseded you in that sense. And, obviously it could be industry stuff, whatever. But you see a Jay, a Nas, or whoever now in their 30s, they weren't getting jumped over by 20-year-olds.
I mean, well, there's a couple things with that. First of all, like, Mike, if you just, in 1995, Mike, 25 years ago, if you were to name a top 5, your top 5 MC list, it would go Rakim, KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane, Slick Rick, Kool G Rap, LL Cool J, Ice Cube, Scarface, probably. Like, not, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not Face yet, but like, yeah, it would go something like that.
Something like that, right.
Yeah, it would go something like that. People need to understand how great like Jay, Nas, and Big Pac are. Like, they move these guys. Like, and those aren't regular, easy guys to move. But also, too, Mike, and here's where it is. Their song-making ability proved to be better, and skill-wise, they were right there or past those guys at some point. That's what happened.
I think the game just evolved,
Mike, I mean, Mike, Kool G Rap is nothing of the songmaker that Big is. And a better lyricist. He's a better lyricist, but he can't make a song like Big.
Yeah.
I love G Rap.
G-Rap couldn't, listen, let's just be perfectly honest. Like, G-Rap couldn't make One More Chance, Big Papa, Juicy.
Mike, I mean, Kendrick can't make that shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Big was special. And, and speaking of special, I know we got Slick Rick on here, and I think that the fact that his catalog isn't, like, huge, but I think that arguably, because we got Slick Rick at 23, I think arguably, man, Slick Rick's impact, it's up there with the best of them, man, because people even when Slick Rick was coming back out, people were grabbing Slick Rick to get the Slick Rick sound. Like that was the thing. Like even to this day, like people will go in the Ghost Faces of the world, the Q-Tips of the world, Snoop Dogg, like they are Slick Rick.
Mike, you know how I got a picture of Big hanging in my house behind me? Nas got a picture of Slick Rick hanging in his. You feel me?
Right.
And Nas Slick Rick is to a lot of guys.
You said something the other day too, like when you were talking about in 2001 when the Blueprint and Stillmatic came out. I mean, you got Jay with Slick Rick on the Girls hook, and then you got Nas mimicking Slick Rick on Destroy and Rebuild. That's impact, man.
Mike, that's heavy, Mike. Hold on, that was in the midst of their battle, and they both drew inspiration from the same guy. The Blueprint starts off with a Slick Rick remake.
Yeah, the rule is back. Yes, no, you're right.